All right, technical difficulties beyond our control. It doesn't seem like anything is within my control. Good morning to Traveler. Good morning, everyone, and welcome aboard, everybody, on a lovely morning, whatever morning it is. I believe it's Tuesday. George, we have to talk about maybe changing your day. Monday nights, I have this HOA meeting at 6:30, and I can't stand not being in the chat room for George. So maybe we change the time, George. We'll talk about that. Think about it. Let me know, okay? Good morning to Greg. Good morning to Dale and George and Mal. Pal is here. Waking up a little early this morning, are you, my boy? Mitchell Harston, Phil Chaplin, Timothy, my hooker. You got Traveler, White Sox Gal, and guests by the thousand. And, a Monday nights, it's Monday nights, man. I got that 4-hour HOA meeting every Monday, and I can't even figure out what we accomplish. Anyway, up and onward we go. So many things to talk about. Today we're going to be doing, of course, our hot stove notes. So we've got the Tampa Rays, and we'll talk about the betting odds on the Rays, their team, and we'll break down their prospects as well. We have, let's start off. You're going to start off with a, I don't want to call it trivia, okay? Trivial, maybe, not trivia, okay? Let's talk about, here's one thing for you, as we're going to talk about the big three. The big three, the big three. Here's an interesting one. Zach Greinke, 598 career plate appearances. Now listen to this. This is really cool. Zach Greinke, 598 plate appearances. Billy Hamilton, 598, his last 598 plate appearances. Okay, let's compare. Greinke, 117 hits. Billy Hamilton, 123 hits. Greinke, 1 double, 9 triples, 49 home runs. Okay? Hold on a second. Billy Hamilton, let's see, 7 triples, 1 home run. 65 runs scored for Billy Hamilton, 34 for Zach Greinke, so he's got him there. 113 RBIs for Zach Greinke. Okay, 137 RBIs for Billy Hamilton. And there you go. Billy Hamilton against Zach Greinke. And we wonder why Billy Hamilton is not playing the game, and sometimes we wonder why Zach Greinke is not a DH. Okay, so that's what we got. All right, so the big thing we're waiting for now, of course, is Josh Donaldson, where he's going to sign, and of course, if he doesn't sign with Washington, what are they going to do? What is Atlanta going to do? Minnesota seems to have dropped out. Baseball teams this season have dropped $316 million, okay, on free agent third baseman this offseason. And Josh Donaldson hasn't even signed a deal yet, right? 316.6 if you're scoring at home, million on free agent third baseman this offseason. And the bulk has been spent, of course, on, Anthony Rendon, $245 million, Mike Moustakas, $64 million. Last year the Braves added Donaldson in 2000 on a 1-year, $23 million. He hit 37 homers. He knocked in 94 runs. Comeback player of the year with Atlanta. So, and the Braves are still among the 4 teams still in the hunt for the 34-year-old Donaldson, okay? And there could be a sleeper team. Could be the Dodgers. Could be, you got Atlanta. You got Milwaukee. Okay? And don't forget Nolan Arenado, 35. Third baseman. Think about this, man. Third baseman, Arenado, $35 million. Machado, $32 million. Rendon, $26. Justin Turner, $20 million. Kyle Sagar, almost $20 million. So on the Braves, Donaldson would be the third highest player. That's before any arbitration. Freddie Freeman would be $22 million. Cole Hamels, $18. Mark Melancon's making $14, so you wonder why he's the starting closer Will Smith, 13, and Travis Darno is making $8 million. Atlanta's already spent $100 million on 7 players. The question is, what should the Atlanta Braves do? So it's going to be and word has it that Donaldson has his offers on the table. It's just a question of him making a decision. Okay, so there you go. The Nationals have signed everyday infielder Mark Belanger. So, there you go. All right, pretty good, George. Like that. Marcell Ozuna, he's the second of the big three. Okay, he hasn't been a hot topic, all right? The last couple of, really, Marcell Ozuna. And the big debate is when the Cardinals announced that they were still interested in Marcell Ozuna, and the Cardinals are in desperate need of a bat in the middle of the order, you wonder what makes Ozuna so hard to sign, okay? But the Cardinals, the word has it that the Cardinals can't afford to keep Ozuna. Come on. Reality is that the Cardinals can afford any free agent they are determined to sign. Now, some people say that the Cardinals can't afford to lose Ozuna. But Ozuna's last 2 seasons with the Cardinals produced just, adjusted on base plus OPS slugging percentage. Adjusted on base plus slugging percentage. OPS 107. 7 points above the big league average. 11 right-handed hitters who totaled more than 1,000 plate appearances since 2013 and spent more than half of the time playing the outfield, produced a better OPS than Ozuna, including Tommy Pham. Randall Grichuk was pretty close. Now, some people talk about Ozuna's defense. It's not as bad, okay? Not as bad, okay? So he actually, the Cardinals saw he was a 2017 Gold Glove winner who somehow still ranks 4th in defensive saves plus among left fielders since 2017. But Ozuna, well liked in the clubhouse, so that's not it. He had some rough patches. The organization was a little, was a little taken back by some of the things. Remember, he had a problematic shoulder. He has a tendency to arrive in spring training in not exactly the greatest shape. And if you remember back, I believe it was 2018, he overslept for a day game. Okay? Now, there are some people that say that the Cardinals wouldn't miss Ozuna, but the Cardinal 2019 offense, remember, was overwhelmed in the National League Championship Series. Finished the regular season ranked or very near the bottom in every meaningful offensive statistic. Okay? From runs per game to on-base slugging percentage to... and here's the thing. Ozuna accounted for almost 14% of last year's Cardinals home runs and almost 13% of its RBIs. So that's the story. I happen to believe that the Cardinals really have no choice but to sign him. And over the past 2 years, I believe he's hit 50-something home runs, almost 180 RBIs, and that's among the top 50 in baseball. He only trails Paul Goldschmidt among the current Cardinals. So I would say if you're playing in a only league and you don't want to draft an American League player, I would go out on that limb and take probably at a reduced price Marcell Ozuna. Okay? Now, Tyler O'Neill, Lance Thomas, Randy Arozarena, Justin Williams, Dylan Carlson, they all could somehow form the mix to fill the Ozuna hole, or maybe even improve upon it, okay? So, very optimistic. Don't forget, O'Neill's he got about 270 at-bats in the majors to make him the most experienced of the bunch. But we'll see what happens. Harrison Bader, Dexter Fowler out there. Now, one thing that's being said, and again, I want to thank everybody in the chat room. DK Lush has joined us. Arnie is here. Dale is here. I don't know if I said a little before. Traveler still hanging in there. Okay. Castellanos against Ozuna. That's Anselmo has joined us. So you'd think they would go Castellanos, but here's the big problem with Castellanos. When they play Jose Martinez in the outfield, and they played him last year, you can't have Castellanos and Jose Martinez as your corner outfielders. Just can't do it. So, in my opinion, that's why the Cardinals really haven't been mentioned as much in the Castellanos, okay? Now, the White Sox were the only team linked to Ozuna, but they went elsewhere. The Rangers and the Reds reportedly remain interested. Those are the two teams, okay? And the Cardinals are still engaged. And Nick Castellanos is still unsigned. So Ozuna is probably taking the position that he's going to wait for Castellanos to sign. That leaves only him. And he's 29 years old. So of 17 outfielders who have played more than 1,000 innings in the last 3 seasons, Ozuna leads the pack in RBIs and ranks third in home runs. Again, 17 outfielders who have played more than 1,000 innings in each of the last 3 seasons. Ozuna leads the pack in RBIs, around 300, and ranks third in home runs with 89. Okay? So, he had a 259 batting average last year, but he had a lot of bad luck. His BABIP was not very high. So there you go. His average exit velocity was 17th best in baseball. Barrels were about 8.5%, 28th best. So we'll see what happens with Ozuna. But he, I think, could wind up being one of the good players again. Okay? He could end up being somebody good. I would go the extra dollar, especially if you're in an only league. He's going to sign with, I think, the Cardinals, because I do believe that Nick Castellanos, it was reported that he had some good meetings with the Texas Rangers, who are a finalist, no question about it. So the Rangers are still trying to the Rangers are approaching the Colorado Rockies about Nolan Arenado. Now, how much of a dip would you give Nolan Arenado if he moves from Colorado to Texas? Okay, so Texas really starting to hone in a little bit. About a week ago, it seemed that Texas was pretty close to signing Todd Frazier. So they have moved. Castellanos is primarily an outfielder. They could actually sign them both. Okay, they could sign them both. So it's interesting to see. And they say that if they sign Castellanos, it still doesn't mean that Texas won't pursue Arenado. Okay, Arenado's due $234 million over the next 7 years. Texas with that new ballpark, and look, if they acquire 2 right-handed hitters, that could make it easier for the Rangers to include one of their young major leaguers, Willie Calhoun, who emerged in 2019. He could actually be moved. Arenado could play third. Frazier could play first. Castellanos and Gallo could be the corner outfielders. All right, so there you go. Those are the big three. Ozuna, Castellanos, and whoever the third guy was. So, yeah, my memory is about as good as anybody else's in the chat room now. I am absolutely brain dead, okay? Arenado would still be a big-time fantasy player, according to George. Okay? So trade Willie. There you go. Don't trade Willie. Traveler likes Willie Calhoun. And don't forget, come here into the chat room to meet some of the greatest fantasy baseball people that I have met. Not only you put a question in our chat room, and what do you get? You get about 20 to 30 people mulling it over and giving you various reasons why you should or you shouldn't. There you go. Jose Iglesias, he'll be a good fit for Baltimore. Now, I remember that I saw him in the Arizona Fall League. He played shortstop, and they did a little Harlem Globetrotter with him. They had the hitting coach hit fungos, hit ground balls to the left side with Iglesias